I never had one, but I had like a dupe.
I think I had like the OG one, but it was like I got it as like a joke, and then I was like, I love this thing.
I love that. They're so comfy. I just love being
like,
comfy.
Insane.
Yeah.
Just talk to me real quick.
Testing.
You could have said something.
Welcome to season 6. Feels right. I haven't done the last one since August. So season 6, episode 67.
Sounds and looks good.
Awesome.
Either one of you can give me a clap real quick for sync. Beautiful.
Oh, and we were in sync.
I always knew that was going to happen.
We were like in sync.
I always just usually tell one person. I'm just like, I'll say their name, but I was just like, hey, I didn't specify. So,
so we both did at the exact same time.
Beautiful. Perfect. And I'll be taking some BTS photos. But...
Okay, cool. Thanks.
Cool.
All right.
You have to talk to my agent about that. No, I'm just kidding.
All right. When phones are on silent?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Cool.
I think.
Yeah.
It usually is, but I just want to
Nothing wrong with double checking.
You know?
We have the time to do so.
Well, if it wasn't, it is now.
Okay. Whenever you guys are ready.
Okay. Hey everyone, welcome to season 6 of the When You'll See the Sales podcast. I am now on episode 67, and Taylor, a very familiar face to everybody, is here.
Yay.
She's back.
I'm back.
After a year and a half.
You make it sound like I haven't seen you since then.
I know. I mean, we saw each other literally
last week.
But you haven't been here.
Yeah, I've never been here, but
Yeah.
I haven't podcasted with you for a year and a half.
Yeah.
A lot to catch up on.
A lot to catch up on. The last episode, we were in Jersey. We are filming at the Brooklyn Podcasting Studio, not too far from my house. I love this studio.
It's beautiful.
It's beautiful. It's so fun.
So close.
So close. So what's new? What do you want to touch on first?
I don't know. Let's talk about what we're doing now.
Yeah. So
because last time you had just left.
I had just left
where
that
I was
company.
working. Yeah, and then I was still there.
Yeah.
And then unfortunately, I got laid off, and then I was kind of focusing on freelance stuff for a while, and now I do part time at a med spa in Jersey. So it's crazy because I feel like we always said this too. We're so much we have to do another podcast episode. So much has changed, but literally so much has changed.
So much.
My hair changed.
Your hair changed.
My hair changed.
Yeah, our hairs were changing.
Yeah, my hair changed. It got dark.
I loved the dark.
Yeah,
I loved the black cat
but
Taylor.
I just felt like a different person all around because know they say when girls crash out they always dye their hair.
Yeah,
but I really felt like I don't know, I felt like we were just talking about you have the seasons of your podcast episode, and you wherever you're at in life, you're okay, I feel like now I'm in a new chapter, so it's gonna be a new season.
Yeah,
I was doing that with my hair, and I just felt so out of place with dark hair just because I wasn't used to it. Will I go back? I don't know, maybe, but if I do, it's not gonna be for a while because this was expensive to do.
Yeah,
so.
no, I hear you.
Yeah,
I feel like when you went back to blonde and I was back to fully black, we were back in our element. I'm okay, this is back to how we.
Don't you feel more yourself when you have the.
I love black hair. Yeah, I feel Latina. I feel me. I feel exactly how I want to, I guess, look.
Right. Yeah. Right. You feel like yourself.
I do.
It's almost like a woosah, but because I felt so weird just with this dark hair. I was who's this girl?
Yeah,
who is she?
I totally
but it was crazy because at the time when I started dyeing my hair, I was going through a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So that's when I stopped speaking to somebody
who was mentioned on the last.
I don't know if I said his name. I definitely said my ex-fiance's name a couple times.
Okay. But we did refer to the other person. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Yeah.
But we're no. I'll tell you about that later because I ain't saying anything about him on this podcast.
I feel you.
Not today.
I feel you. But so as your best friend, I will just say before we get emotional, because I feel like I'm already getting emotional.
Why?
I don't know. I feel like anytime we're talking, I start to get emotional.
I know.
But I've seen so many changes in positivity for your life.
Yeah.
You know, over the past year and a half, and like again,
Stop, I'm gonna cry.
Again, when we met, there were so many changes happening in both of our lives. I had just moved here.
Mm-hmm.
You had just gotten out of a relationship where you were getting married. You were
Yeah,
engaged.
I was engaged. So it's not even like it was just like, oh, I broke up with this guy. I was living with him. I was living in his family's house. You know, so I moved from, you know, where I was in Long Island back home. Took me a while to find a job because, like, honestly, like, people are like, oh, just get a job anywhere. No. You want to do something you want to, especially, like, when you're older, you know, because I wasn't, like, extremely young at the time. I was, like, 29.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to, like, work at, like, retail in the mall. I wanted to do something that I liked and something that felt like gave me purpose.
Yeah,
so it's not
absolutely.
like I didn't want to like go work at McDonald's. Like
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
not that there's anything wrong with that, but I'm like I don't want to do that. I was like I want something else for myself.
Yeah.
So
And you've worked throughout time and have had these different skill sets.
yeah,
Which again,
yeah, you always tell me that too. You're like
You
you've
do.
had so like you always are like Taylor, you've had so many different types of jobs, and I'm like I
Mhm.
really have.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Which I think is incredible. I
Yeah.
think it's very brave of anyone to try out different things because, you know, not always, but I feel like people, when they go to school for something, they kind of try to follow that route.
Mhm.
And I know you went a little bit different.
yeah,
And you have these unique groups of, you know, skill sets
Yeah.
now. And I think that's beautiful.
and it's like and you can take a lot of that wherever too. So it's like, you know, I have like an English degree, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you can take that into a lot of different things. Like I could, like if I got licensed, I can go be like a teacher, you know,
Mhm.
but that would take time and money. But if I wanted to, I don't want to, but if I did want to, I can.
Yeah.
And then, and then I did sales, like
Mhm.
over the phone, like hardcore, like sales. I was pretty good at it.
Which I think is such a valuable thing to have. I just have never been like, I've never seen myself as a salesperson.
Yeah.
But I think that when you're good at sales, you can really be good at a lot of things.
It's just honestly being good at sales. I feel like if you're good at talking to people, you're just good at sales.
Yeah.
Like if you
I
can
agree.
speak to like people and just like BS with them, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
then you can like, oh, I could sell you this pencil if I make you like me. You know, basically that's really it. It's like I'm selling me, not the product.
I
you know?
always think of Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah. That's crazy though. Like that's intense stuff.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it wasn't like I was selling stuff to schools. So I wasn't like, buy the stock. Imagine. I don't think I could do that.
Yeah.
But honestly, like, it's so funny looking back at it. Like, that company wished they were like Wolf of Wall Street. And I was like, we're literally selling into schools.
But I think that's kind of cool.
No, what we did was really cool, but they
Yeah.
wanted to be like,
Yeah.
I was like, okay,
Yeah.
relax.
Whenever I think of that pen selling thing, I always think of that. But yeah, you have these, you know, different skill sets, and throughout time you've tried different things. So right now, creatively and then work wise within your purpose and passion, what are you focused on for this year? And like what things have caught your interest where you're like, oh my God, I want to try this and I want to go into this area?
So definitely, I still want to do like content creating because I have found such a love for that. And like, I don't know, I feel like I've always liked social media, and I was like, ooh, if I could do this, I remember back in like the day, I was like, I want to be an influencer. You know, like that doesn't happen for everybody. It's not easy to get like millions of followers. It's not everybody gets that.
Yeah.
Especially now with the algorithm and stuff, but I don't even want to.
The friggin' algorithm.
Friggin' algorithm. Like, Meta, get your shit together.
Yeah, literally.
But yeah, something I just love having that creative outlet. We would talk about it all the time. I remember like there would be days we'd go into the office together, and I was like, I'm having a tough day. Let's create some really cool stuff. And we would put it like whatever we were feeling into our work. And I remember one time our boss was like, yeah, you guys can come in like a bad mood and I would never know because your work is so good. And I was like, I literally spilled my blood and guts into that post. because I was so upset about this man.
Literally, again, creativity in that way, that's what I've found since I've moved out here.
Yes.
And again, us together within the work we did, like you said, we could be in any sort of mood, emotion.
And we just put it in, like,
it would bleed into our work.
Yeah, and I think that's a wonderful, healthy outlet.
It is.
I mean, as long as you're not, like, overworking, then it's fine. I think that's, like, a good, very therapeutic way to go about, like, whatever it's going on in your life, you know?
Yeah, I
even
agree.
Like with stuff with, like, with my dad, like, even, like, just creating, like, the post for him just made me feel so good, and I felt like I was like, you know, here, Dad, I miss you, like, I made this thing for you.
Do you want to talk about that at all?
Yeah, we could talk about it. So for those of you that know me well, unfortunately my dad passed, and I'm gonna start crying, in July. So that was just, like, really tough. And it's crazy because, like, me and my dad, we never had, like, a bad relationship, I would say. It wasn't bad. It wasn't amazing, but it was just, like, you know, we bumped heads. We're very similar people. But when he was sick, I was just working at the bar. So I had all the daytime to, like, go spend with him. So I spent almost every day with him while he was in the hospital, unless I was traveling, because I was traveling a lot that year too. But I got, like, I felt like no matter what our past relationship was, like, I feel like we really mended it because I was able to, out of, like, you can ask anyone in my family, they're like, Taylor was there the most for her father, like, at that time. And then I even planned the whole wake and the party that you were at. Like, I did that.
Yeah.
Nobody else did.
The celebration of life was beautiful.
Yeah.
It really was.
That was such a weird day. I was so hungover. Because, like, I don't know what I was doing the night before. I went out to a concert the night before, and then I remember having a panic attack in the car, like, on the way there. But I was telling my mom, I was like, Mom, I really don't feel good. I think I have to go to the hospital. And she's like, I think you're just, like, nervous because today is, like, a weird day. And I was like, yeah. Probably.
Yeah.
But yeah, that and the people at the venue were so kind. Like, even, like, the bartender, she was the daughter of the man who owned it, and, like, he knew my dad, and, like, everyone there, just obviously everyone there knew my dad. But it was just nice to see everybody celebrate him in a way he would have loved.
Yeah.
So it was just, like, it was very nice, and I just, like, I hope he felt that love, like, in his life when he was alive.
Yeah.
So
based on being there, it just felt like he had so much life around him. From all the people I was meeting, I think. And, you know, I've really loved meeting your family. And, you know,
they
over
love
time,
you too, by the way.
Yeah,
like even when you bought my mom flowers the other day, she was like, that was so nice.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, well, that's just like Yesenia.
it really is.
That's
so
like you to a T to
important.
do that, you know?
Yeah, I just think it's so important to really show love to everyone that we love as often as we can, because again, life is really so precious. And I just want to add to everything you were saying, being, you know, your best friend and being alongside you. I constantly, because whenever my family, loved ones, everyone that knows you has asked about you, I just say she's okay. She's so brave. Like, that's the word that always comes up for me, is just like how strong you were with, you know, again, it was a long time that you were going every day, and literally.
And I would tell you, I'd be like, yeah, I'm going to see my dad. I'll text you, like, a little bit. So it was like, it was, if not every day, it was almost every day. And then, you know what was crazy too? I remember like random people online would, like, give me crap about, like, traveling. They're like, your dad is sick and you're gonna sit there and go travel. And I was like, what the
people,
I was like, I still need to do for me. Like, I'm not gonna, like, and I was there all the time. So I was like, don't try to tell me what to do and how to live my life, you know? Because I was like, that's really rude. I was like, I need to heal too. Like, this is hard seeing my dad like this, because he wasn't, like, chilling, like, in a hospital, like sitting. Like, there was days he couldn't talk.
Yeah.
So it was hard. So I was like, I need to heal just from seeing him that way and knowing the, you know, ultimate outcome. Like we knew as soon as he went in the hospital, we're like, okay, this is probably it.
Yeah.
So it was just like, I was like, I need to process on my own too.
Absolutely.
I can't just, like, it was so much to endure.
Absolutely.
Like it was.
And again, you were truly there, and your family, and again, your core family.
Yeah.
Like you guys were there for each other during that time more than ever. And I really feel like when people online have things to say, they aren't your closest people.
No, it was like some random person. I was just like, that's like, it was from like an anonymous account. I was like,
yeah. And people project, you know, for whatever they're going through in life. I really feel that way.
And that's exactly what this person said. They're like, well, my dad, he like passed. And I was like, oh, that sucks. But like, don't take it out on me. Like, it's not my fault.
Yeah.
But
so since and everything, you know, the time that it's been about a half a year now, but the time spent, do you look at life differently?
Yeah. I don't know if it's just because of that, but I feel like within the last like couple of years, I've really looked at life differently. I believe that does play a role, but I just really, like, you know, like I've gone through like certain friendships and relationships within the past year that I've let go because they weren't serving me anymore, you know? So I feel like, you know, we're only here for such a limited amount of time. Like we're here for like maybe max 85 years if you live like a long life, if you're healthy. That's being generous. But like we're here for such a short amount of time. So it's like, why sit there and like be miserable for any of it? Like, live your life to the fullest and do what you want to do. And, you know, the rest will come later. But I feel like living in the moment is important. Be smart about it. Don't be like, here, let me spend like $5 million on something. Like within your own means, like make sure you're living your life. I think that's so important. And like, for a lack of a better way to put it, I guess, like, don't take crap from people either.
Yeah.
You can. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, you know, I went through a friendship breakup recently, which bothers the crap out of me so much. Because it was like, she was a very close friend, and she was there for me for a lot of it. And then they just kind of bail out on me because of a silly fight, like a day before my dad died. You know, like, which was crazy.
Yeah. One thing along that I've thought about a lot just within the past year, and I'm really curious where your mind goes, but what do you define as loyalty to you in that way? Because I think about the relationships, friendships, even loved ones, you know, family members even, and I've had different people around me that at different points of their life have had to let people go, even if it's difficult. So what to you is loyalty?
I would say it's like that, like, loyalty is somebody like who at the end of the day, they still have your back. And they're not gonna, you know, talk badly about you. Like, there is a certain person that I don't want to mention that is pretty loyal to me in regards to like being my friend. I think you know who I'm talking about. So like, even, you know, like anytime because I did reach out to him when my dad passed, and he wrote this like long message back to me, and he was very sweet about it, and like he could have not answered, you know, but like it's like people like that I'm like, okay, I know you have my back, even if we're on bad terms. But then there's people who you thought were a really good friend, and then they don't have your back in hard times. So it's just like, I don't know, like it puts everything into perspective. It's like, you know, and that's I think because of that, my circle got very small. Which is fine. Yeah. Like I tell you this a lot. I really feel like I'm my own best friend. Yeah. Like, and I love doing things by myself. Like, there's so much comfort in just being with you. And I know a lot of people don't feel that way, but I truly do. Like, I'm going to Boston at the end of the month, and I'm so excited. I'm going by myself.
I'm so excited for you.
Oh my God, it's gonna be so relaxing. I can't wait. Yeah. But you know, it's just like people are like, how do you do that? Aren't you like afraid, or like, what are you gonna do? I'm like, whatever I want to do. Yeah. Like, I think that's beautiful. Right. It's like, I don't know. Like, and then my ex-fiance, he was always like, oh, you're afraid to be alone. You've always been in relationships and da-da-da. Meanwhile, the guy's been in like 3 relationships since we broke up. But, you know, whatever. But like, it's just like, I find a lot of comfort in being by myself. And he always told me that I didn't. And I'm like, well, look now. Yeah. Like, look. It's so empowering as a woman. And we both share that we were in long-term relationships in our 20s. And we really experienced being single in our 30s. Yeah. Do you feel like this is something I feel like you could relate to, and I think you have maybe a similar answer to me. But do you feel like because you're in a serious relationship for the majority of like your younger 20s that you missed out?
Yes and well, it's hard to describe because I feel like couldn't be in the mindset I am now.
Okay.
In that,
like without, like if you didn't go through.
Yeah, like I at least know what it's like to be with someone long term and to, at least on my end, create a home from just a house on my end.
Yeah.
And but yeah, I wouldn't. The only thing that I feel sad for my younger self is just that I don't see the beauty of being alone, and like you were just saying, being my own best friend and truly loving being alone.
Right. I feel like though, as a younger person, like in what I say younger person, I mean like in their early to mid, maybe even to late 20s.
Yeah.
I just feel like I feel like you're almost afraid of being alone. And then it's like you go through a really crappy relationship or a crappy breakup or whatever, and then you're like you heal or don't heal. And then, I think just being older, you're like, I'm good.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. But what I was going to say, my answer to that, I was like, I don't think, because I mean, from my early 20s when I was in college, I was on and off again with Josh. So I was like on and off again with him. But then I started dating Phil shortly after. So like I was like, I had some single moments where I was like able to be single, but I feel like I was just too young and stupid.
Yeah.
At the time. I feel like in like your early 20s, I think about it now, and I was like, I was so dumb.
Things, you live and you learn.
I'm like, Jesus,
you live and you learn.
To say the least.
Yeah.
To say the least.
But I think, again, for me, being in that relationship for so long in my 20s, again, maybe it was for the better that I was at least at home a lot, even if he wasn't there, because he wasn't there a lot.
Right.
But
you were loyal, so it's like you were basically you were inside.
I was inside,
You were inside.
or with my friends. I remember in my 20s only going out for birthdays or like something special, or whenever my family was doing something. And if I wasn't at home in the Bay, I was back home with my parents, like, because my sister was really young, because we're 11 years apart.
Right.
So I would go home like every other weekend. Shout out Vivian. But what I was going to say to you, talking about being alone, I remember being terrified of being alone. I did not like being alone. And it wasn't until I was 28, 29. I lived alone for a year, and my closest friend was 45 minutes from me. And
where was that?
I was in San Jose, California.
Okay.
And my closest friend was Linda she lived in Oakland at the time.
Yeah, that's not like extremely close.
No, so it was 45 minutes from there, and then I was working in San Jose and San Francisco, and then my parents were in Sacramento, so if I wanted to go home, it's like a 2.5, 3-hour commute. And so that year, it was a full year that I was there. I remember the first couple months, it was like the hardest I had ever gone through, because
it's a huge adjustment period.
It was, and my relationship was crumbling.
Right, so it's like you're going through that, and plus you're on your own, and then you're like... You're not even just by yourself. You were really by yourself, because like nobody was like near you.
Yeah, it was hard.
Yeah, I can imagine. And then
I fell in love with being alone.
And now you're like, wow, my energy is amazing. And I don't want anyone near me.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, no, I can really relate, because similar but different. Like I moved to Long Island with Phil into his. So I felt like I was taken out of my comfort zone and put in someone else's comfort zone, which is uncomfortable. And you adjust, and like he didn't really have to adjust. He had his friends, he had his life like set up there. I had nobody. I had him, which was made for a toxic environment for us, because like he was all I had. So I would get really insecure, because I was like, you're not only my boyfriend, but you're also my only friend here.
Yeah.
So it was hard, and you just, and then, so I was there for 3 years, maybe. And then, I had jobs out there, but they were mainly like, I was a manager at a lot of my jobs. I was with the European Wax Center.
Yeah.
So I was manager. So like, I couldn't really like befriend like the people working for me, because they were under me, so I couldn't
Yeah.
really like be friends with them.
Yeah.
So it was like a power dynamic, and I was just like, okay, like I guess I can't have friends at work either.
Yeah.
But then I started working at the sales place that I was telling you about earlier, and like I was friends with like everybody, and it was nice. I was like, oh, I have all these friends, like this is great. But this is the first time I actually had male coworkers in like years.
Wow.
And then Phil was like, you want to bang all your coworkers? And I was like, okay, no, I don't. But that's like, it was, so that made for a lot of crap too.
Yeah.
But then I got like I had like a good group of girlfriends at work. There was like a couple of girls. Because like there was a lot of men who worked there, but it was like all the girls were like
That nice.
besties. It was really sweet. Shout out to all y'all in Long Island.
Shout out to all of them.
Miss them.
So what is it like now? I mean, you've been single for how long?
Shit. Well, technically single since like September 2022.
Wow.
Technically, but then there was
Yeah, different people. I mean, you were dating, and
I was dating someone and they were not dating me back.
is a situation? Would you call it a situationship?
Yeah.
But you guys also were exes, so that's
that's
actually very interesting dynamic because, I mean, I'm trying to think of everyone I know. I've never been in that situation. I'm like trying to think.
Yeah, you have to think about it, right? It's like, have I? Well, it's just like it was the way it happened. Okay, let me tell that story brief.
Sure.
I'll be because I could take up a lot of time. I don't want to talk too much about it. Before there's me like, I'm not bringing him up on the podcast, and now I'm just like, but yeah. So I remember I was at my cousin's engagement party, and I was like, I met him through her. And we were drinking, we were having a good time, and so when I see her, sometimes I just think of him.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I wonder what he's up to. So I just looked at his stories, and then he DM'd me like 2 days later. I was like, oh no.
When was this? Like, what month and year was this?
August.
Okay.
2022.
Okay.
So, well, I said like I broke up with Phil.
Yeah.
Well, that's when we stopped speaking. We were separated at that point. So I wasn't doing anything that bad. But then he was telling me, he's like, oh, your ex DM'd me and was like talking shit about you. And I was like, oh, okay, great. Thank you.
Of course. Men are so territorial. It's like, we're not together.
No, not even that. It was just like he was like trying to, I feel like Phil was honestly trying to paint me as this bad person in case I ever did talk to Josh again.
Yeah.
And like, so basically he was saying all this like negative stuff about me to Josh. And I was just like,
yeah, that's horrible.
What?
Yeah.
I was like, that's crazy. And then Phil blocked Josh after that whole thing happened. And then Josh was just like, fuck it, I'm going to talk to her. And then the rest is history. Because then we talked for a real long time after that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, so basically I was like in a weird off and on situationship with him from, I guess it didn't really get that serious. Because like for a while it was just like, we were just like, whatever. And then maybe like February, March the following year. I don't want to say why, but you know why.
Yeah.
We got really close because of like stuff that was going on. And then that's when I was like, I think I like you again.
And so you've been single but dating, and then since that time, you've taken a lot of time
to myself.
To yourself.
Yeah. So basically because obviously like when I was like like I said in the beginning, I was not really like into like I wasn't trying to date him. I was just like whatever. So there was other people like like you were there for most of it, obviously. So there was like, I guess I was dating people, and then I did go on dates and things like that. But on this year, I didn't go on any. I went on 0 dates
in 2024.
0.
I think
I went on more dates with you.
That's the best.
But
best
honestly,
friend dates are the best. Girl dates are the best.
Girl dates are the best. Like honestly,
we really do take care of one another,
which is insane. Which honestly, that I'm happy we got to saying that, because something I did want to talk about is like, I feel like what I focus on more now is like my female friendships.
Yeah.
And that, because honestly, like you're gonna be at my wedding one day, but like the guy I'm seeing, he might not be. So you know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
I feel like with women, like you can form such a deeper bond. And obviously, like you're not sleeping with your best girlfriends unless you roll that way, then that's on you. But but like for us, at least, it's like, you know, we're such good friends, and I know no matter what, I'm like she'll be there,
Yeah.
no matter what. But like
We always show up for one another.
Yeah.
When it's.
And I think that's so
matters.
important. I feel like as you get older, or as you should, like focus on more of your female friendships than anything else, because those are the people who really are going to show up for you and care for you at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Like even at like your birthday, the slumber party, that was so healing, and it's so
It was so
nice.
healing.
Like I went home and I felt amazing. I just felt so good.
It's been really beautiful because every single person that was there are the female friendships I've made here in New York. And they really are, you know, as you saw, you know, I had this like, okay, I just want everyone to get together, share love, you know, celebrate one another. And everyone brought this beautiful, unique, again, and to why I love each and every one of you, everyone brought their own energy. And then Kathleen had brought that very beautiful celebration of flowers where
so beautiful.
We literally, it was very witchy. It was very like,
I think it was like a full moon or something too. It was a full moon. And I was like, this is crazy.
We were in all pink. We were also watching the boxing match, but I think we were listening to like Lana Del Rey and like different people at different times. But that was a really beautiful moment. And we've had countless moments like that with each other.
Have. Yeah, for sure.
And with our girlfriends. And that's what I really do look forward to this upcoming year alongside whoever we do date. I think it is.
I don't even know if I'll date this year. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't like, it's so, not that I hate men, because I don't, but
I think it just means you want to heal more. And
yeah,
again, be
that
to
and
yourself.
Like I don't think I'm ready. Number one, I really don't, because like even after Josh, like when I stopped talking to him in the beginning there was like one person after, like, and that was so annoying because I just got ghosted, and I was like I'm done.
Yeah,
that was like final straw. I was like,
yeah,
nope.
I get it. People can be complicated.
Yeah, and that's fine, but don't suck other people into your complicatedness.
Yeah.
If you're not ready for something, don't act like you are.
Yeah.
Because like, and again, I feel like people could be like, I'm not ready, and then they act like they're ready, but they're like, oh, I just said I love you, but I'm not really ready.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think people just have some growing up to do.
Yeah.
Within maturity when it comes to those things, you know, because it's heavy, it's big things. And again, that's why when I had asked about loyalty, and again, there's just so much that goes into whether it's a friendship or again, somebody that you're romantically seeing, where I'm like, people can end things over anything. Like you were like, oh, ghosted. Like people do that. I just think it's so wild to me that adults do that to one another. I'm like, be a man or be a woman. Just be grown.
Yeah, just have
a conversation.
Yeah. Honest, and it's hard. It's hard to do. But I feel like ghosting someone is hard too.
I just think it just is very cowardly in my opinion.
And I just, you know, like with this person that I'm talking about, when I was ghosted, I think what ended up happening, he started seeing someone else, because like we were just talking, so it wasn't anything like crazy, but like you could have been like, hey, I'm seeing someone else.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. It's a respect thing.
Yeah. And it's like, would I have been pissed? Yeah. Was I more pissed that you just ghosted me? Yeah.
Yeah. Again, it does come down to respect and how people treat you. And again, that's why I think going, again, full circle, when you're with your best friends and your girlfriends and people that are healing, and you're taking the time to be by yourself to heal, you really are teaching yourself, and others are teaching you how to, you know, how you want to be treated and like how to feel loved.
Yeah. And I always joke and I'll send you like reels. I'll be like, oh, like go on dates with like your girlfriends. But like, it's true, because it's like, I feel like your girls are going to treat you the way you want to be treated in a relationship, as far as like the like respect part, and you know, just like the kindness part, and like just being there for you, like the emotional part, I guess, if you want to say that.
What would you say in a perfect world then is an ideal partner for you? Someone that you, in time, if you get to that place when you're like, I'm ready to start dating again, what are the things that you're like, this is non-negotiable, exactly what I want?
I would ideally want someone who could just like let me be like soft.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to have to like put on a front all the time. I want to be able to just like melt and just like not, because it's like I feel like as women we are 100% all the time. Like there's something going on in here, always. Like the wheels are always turning. We're always thinking about something. We're always worried about something. So I want my person to just like be like my calm. That way I'm not feeling like that when I'm with them. Like I want to turn off my brain.
That makes sense.
You know, like not completely, but like you know what I mean. So that's a big thing for me. I want them to be like, I'm not saying I want them to like spoil the crap out of me when it comes to like money, but I want them to be like
shower you with love.
Shower me with love and just kidding. But no, like I do want them to like
take care of you.
I
feel like you would, because you will take care of them. I think that's what love
in
is.
turn,
It's taking care of one another in whatever ways that you bond, you know.
And honestly, it doesn't, like I joke about it, but it doesn't have to always be like, oh, I want you to pay for all my stuff. Because it doesn't, like, you don't need to buy me all my stuff. You want to buy me something, good, by all means, go ahead. But like, show me that you love me and show me that you care about me. Like shower me in that way, you know.
Yeah.
But I feel like, I don't know, I feel like men don't do that anymore.
Well, listen, I think there are many that do.
Yeah,
I think it's all about waiting until the right ones come along. And I think you're really good about, you know, especially within this past year, of weeding that out. Of being like, I'm not going to do this.
Well, you've been really good about it too.
Oh, yeah.
To be honest.
I ate the grapes, baby. I ate the grapes this year.
And then everyone next day, hello?
Serious inquiries only. That is
For
one of my
real.
mottos.
But honestly,
literally.
I don't even know if I want serious inquiries right now. I think I'm just like, no inquiries. We're closed. Books are closed.
Which is good. I
Books
think
are closed.
That's a beautiful chapter to be in.
Yeah. And I mean, granted, that's where I was for most of last year too. I was just like, I think I'm good.
That's wonderful.
And like, I'm still kind of like in that mindset. And I feel like even more so this year, I'm going to focus. Like I think I've been telling you this. I'm going to focus more on like healing from the inside out. Because obviously after this whole year, like it's been crazy. Gained weight, you know, like haven't been taking the best care of myself physically. You know, there was times when I just didn't go to the gym. It's like you were going through a lot. I was literally going through a loss. So like that's hard for anyone to deal with. And it's someone that I was close to. It's like, it's my dad. It's not like my gerbil. It was like serious, you know.
Yeah.
It was my gerbil. But with that, you know, it takes a toll on you physically and mentally. So this year I'm definitely gonna like you know, prioritize my well-being, I guess, if you want to just put like one broad term on it. Like even last month, like in December, I made a promise to myself. I was like, okay, I'm going to go to the gym like X amount of times. I think I said I wanted to go at least 18 times with a target of 20. So I was like, okay, at least go 20 days. And I did it. And
that's amazing. Yeah, and you should be very proud of yourself. I think that's another beautiful thing, is keeping the promises that you make to yourself.
Yeah.
I think that's beautiful.
Yeah.
So do you have any specific goals alongside of new promises that you want to make for yourself this year?
I want to go to therapy.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah. Because I'm such it's so annoying that I don't go already, because I'm such an advocate for it and I think everybody should go. But, you know, when you don't get health insurance.
Oh, that is a whole other health insurance in America. I was about to say something, but we're not going to bring that up.
I know what you were going to say too. I'm dead, bro. Come on.
But yeah, no, it's just not.
And it's expensive. It was so expensive. So
it's
the
so
place,
expensive.
Yeah, the place that I looked at, because it looked like, I don't know. I feel like when people talk about going to therapy, it almost sounds like this big scary thing, and you feel like you're going to this like weird, dusty like office. So I picked like a place that was more like it's not like a facility, I guess you could say, but it's like a bigger place, and it just seemed like more like on your level, I guess. I what's the best word?
Were you comfortable? Like
it makes you like maybe it appealed more to like a younger audience. Like it was more appealing, and like they had like marketing on like social media, and I was like, oh, this seems cool. Like, what's that?
Yeah.
So I emailed them. I told them like my situation, and the guy who like runs the entire thing emailed me back, and I was like, cool. But he was able to like help me with like pricing, because he was like, I want you to come here.
That's beautiful.
Like, he's probably like, low-key, yes, I want your money, but I understand that this is all expensive. So here, let me help you. Yeah. So they were very helpful in that.
Angels.
So yeah, right. I was like, thank God, because it's like it's close to my house. You know, and like again, I wanted to make sure. I feel like I get ghosted by therapists a lot too. That happened to me before. Like I think like during COVID or maybe like right after, but like that does happen to people. So I was like, I don't want that to happen. So I was like, maybe if I just go to a place that's like specifically for like therapists, and they have them like in their, not just like a random office building, you know, like they're just like there. So I was like, oh,
that's nice. Therapy's beautiful.
Yeah, I think everyone should go, you know, because it's like I read somewhere they said if you've had a childhood, you should go to therapy.
I agree.
Because there's stuff that you don't even realize that you went through as a kid that were kind of like, it was kind of messed up. And it's not even like terrible things. It's just like there's generational trauma. There's stuff that your parents brought onto you that like if you want to break the cycle, you should go get help. And that's okay.
I agree.
You know, like that's a big thing I really want to focus on this year too, is just like healing little me.
Yeah.
Like she's been through some stuff and she didn't deserve half of it. So, or any of it, to be honest. But like, you want to take care of you. And I feel like it starts there. Like you got to go, like you want to take care of little Taylor or little Yesenia, you know. You always say that to me. You're like, you know, like what would little Yesenia want? And it's like, what would she want, you know?
It makes me very emotional. I don't know about you, but every time I think about that too, because I made a lot of decisions that were not easy on my family and myself at different points in my life, you know, and I always think back to that little girl. Yeah, like I always think back to that little girl. And I can't remember where I first heard it, but I saw someone doing a trend where they would put a childhood photo of themselves in the morning. They would see it every morning on a mirror, like in the bathroom or just somewhere in visibility. And that's really powerful.
It is.
To start your day that way.
Because like if you really think about it, like that's, like you think about like, oh, you're like, you would never like hurt a child, blah, blah, blah. But like you were a child. So why are you doing stuff that would hurt you now, or stuff that's not good for you now, or be in a situation that you shouldn't be in, or be in a bad relationship? Because that's still you. You're older now, but that little kid in there, she's in there somewhere.
She's in there. You know, another conversation I had recently that I really like, I have still been thinking about it, is where we get self-esteem from. And I didn't really even know the definition.
That's so interesting.
Of self-esteem. Because when I think of it, you know, I thought of, well, you know, it comes from within. But
there's external factors.
There are. The people you surround yourself with, what people are telling you, what you're feeding your mind, you know, things like that. And so I was talking with a friend recently about self-esteem and her perception on self-esteem. And I'm curious what yours is, because again, for me, when I even thought of the word, I kept thinking about my younger self, but there's much more to it. Yeah. You know,
so with that, like we were just saying, it's like a lot of, it comes from within ultimately, but there are things that can influence it that are around you. So if you had, like, not to say anything bad about my mom, but like, because I love her and she's great, but she would, when I was little, like not little, I was maybe like 11-ish, like, you know, go like maybe just about to go through puberty. So it was very like, you know, like impactful time. But I remember she, like, if there was like snacks around the house, granted she was buying all the snacks, so that's on her, but she would be like, oh, be careful eating that. And I was like, why? She's like, you don't want to get fat. I'm like, but I feel like that is
I'm
such
only laughing because my mother.
No, that's all. Like, I was just gonna say. I feel like that is that's a very real thing for a lot of girls and their moms. It's like that. I don't think she meant to call me fat. I don't think that was her intention. she was telling me to be careful, but I took it as like, you're calling me fat. And that fucked with me for a really long time.
I really feel like, and I could be off, but I really feel like when our mothers have said things like that to us,
it comes from like their mom.
100%, but I feel like it's kind of them saying those things to themselves, like what their internal voices
Yes,
to themselves.
Like they're like projecting onto you. Yeah.
Yes, because my mom has always struggled with weight her whole life, you know, and just her perception of herself. And I don't know where it comes from. Again, I feel like I was just born with it, but I have always kind of been a reminder to her that, like, Mom, you're beautiful. So when she has said things similar to your mom at different points in my life, I'll kind of look at her like, yeah, but, you know, I kind of like stand up like, yeah, like, I know myself. I love myself because I was heavier at different points after the pandemic. And all my 20s, I was like rail thin. I was really tiny. Right. And it wasn't until after the pandemic when I was heavier and all that. And I love the body that I'm in, but I've always loved the body that I'm in. That's great. And it's really interesting because at times I'm like, my mom and dad created a safe space in my home to where that is why I am the way that I am. Right. In addition to, you know, just my light and, again, just the way I was born. But it somehow in turn has been to also heal her through her trauma because she grew us up in a very different environment than she was raised.
I feel like that could definitely be healing. As like, think of it, like, let's say like if you were raising a daughter, right? Like what you would do different, like what you would do differently to make sure that she, like, whatever trauma you had as a kid, she didn't have.
So I just watched It Ends With Us. Have you seen that?
No, I don't know if I want to watch it, to be honest.
You know, and it's very controversial right now with what's going on.
And that's not even why. I just know, like, it'll be very triggering to watch.
And it was. Yeah, I didn't know how triggering it would be, but I just, you know, I only knew a little bit about it. But then after watching it, I mean, and not to spoil anything, but at the end of the movie, you know, because I had never read the books, anything. Yeah. Did you
know anything about it before watching it?
I didn't know the extent of domestic violence, unfortunately. Okay. So it was like jarring. But it was done very beautifully with like the smoke and mirrors of what you're going through when you're actually going through it. And then basically like what you're telling people and what, I don't know, it was very good about the smoke and mirrors of like within a film of explaining it. Okay. Again, I can't speak to both actors and all they're going through, but at the end of the film, which I'm
some crazy stuff going on with them. I'm like, geez.
What happens at the end of the film that I'm sure is derived from the books is her saying exactly what you just said, that she wants to end the trauma cycle with her daughter. Yeah. And so I truly feel in the same way. My sister and I have an 11-year age gap. Yeah. And what I went through within my culture of aunts and different people talking about body, because the first thing a Nicaraguan family member, like the women in our family do, is they'll look
comment.
At you.
Yeah, I remember you were
saying. But it's like if they say something, it's about your body weight. And if they don't, that's also like a trigger because it means that they're still like, if they don't say something nice, or they don't say anything really, and they're just kind of like, hello, so they didn't comment on your body, it's still just like, oh, she still doesn't think I look good. Right. So like if they don't say you look good, it's always negative. Right. So with my sister, I never
really so crappy.
It is. And it's just a part of the culture, unfortunately, that I grew up in. And so with my sister, I was always very protective of her with that. And I feel like 100% because of how I perceive myself, you know, and I'm very body positive, that with my children in the future, I'm going to be, men and women, I'm going to be like that too. You know, you're strong, you're beautiful, all the affirmations that you should constantly tell your children because it is hard. Yeah. It's like, I love my mom. I know we love our mothers. They're amazing women, but it is a thing that like generationally, I know they experienced, and it makes me sad for them, you know, because their inner dialogues, I can only imagine what they struggle with.
And then there is stuff that happened like to women and to children back then that was never like talked about. Like people didn't like come out and be like, hey, this happened to me, you know, until like Me Too movement. And then they're like, oh, you know, which is crazy because like a lot of like weird stuff happened to people throughout time, not even just like then, like even now, like it's just like it's really crazy because it's like people go through this stuff and they just don't say anything.
And it really ties into everything we're talking about: career, mental health, emotions, all of that as women in society and women living now in 2025. I really do feel like our generation is going to be overall a really like a big turning point.
Yeah.
And then my sister generation too,
Yes.
of that change. And again, because
I think we're going to be I think each generation is just going to be slightly better than the last for the most part. There's things about newer generations that I'm like, okay, guys, what is going on? Like the way they speak,
like the
skibbity,
slang
blah blah blah. I'm like, what?
I'm sure our parents are the same with us too, though. With like the different
they say
trends
some really weird stuff.
Like what is this? I'm so out of touch with what's cool.
It's just like there's all
you
of these
skibbity. What's
yeah,
skibbity?
I don't know, but they say it because I'll be scrolling on TikTok and they'll be like skibbity income tax or whatever the frick that means, and I'm just like, what are you actually saying? Because I have no idea.
Wait, do you remember when I first learned those words? We were working together still, and I was like, it was like not finesse, but there was like different slang words. Oh, the Riz.
Yes, that's like one of those words, like Riz.
Yeah.
But like Riz is like, I feel like it makes sense because it's like charisma.
Yeah.
Charisma.
There was something else too, but I just remember being so funny. But
yeah, it was one of those words that I was just like, yeah.
I know I see funny words like that all the time now, but yeah. So anything else within your dreams, desires, anything that you want to talk about?
I just want to get like, I want this year to be the year that like I'm really going to grab it by the gonads and just go and just like, I'm going to be like, you know what? This is the year I'm going to like turn everything around. Cause it's like, I had some, like I dealt with like a lot of stuff the last couple years, you know? So this is the year I'm going to be like, all right, we're doing it. No matter what it takes, we are doing it. And it's not even like, I think I'm going to do it. I know. Mm-hmm. So it's like very big on like manifesting and like, because I feel like if you tell yourself in your head, you're like, this is what you're doing, you're just going to do it.
Absolutely. It's all about saying it, visualizing it, and acting on it. And I believe that, again, you're so courageous. You're so brave. You've always gone for what you want to do. Yeah. And especially in the last 2 years when you've been more so on your own and like, okay, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, and figuring it out. You figure it out.
I always do.
Yeah.
Somehow. It's crazy as it is. I'll figure it out. Trust me. Like even with something like going to Boston, like I was telling you about that the other day. Like I was like, oh, like how am I gonna? Because the weekend I wanted to go, the prices for the Amtrak went up because I was telling you I wanted to take Amtrak because I just think it would be easier. But what I did was I was like, okay, I'm gonna buy a really early train time ticket from New York, and I'll take the train from Jersey to Penn, and then like yes, it'll be early, but you know I'll deal with it later. I can nap.
Sleep on the train.
Right, I can nap.
A good nap on the train.
Yeah, right. But like that brought the ticket down from like $100 to like $25.
Wow.
So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do that. Yeah, sounds good to me. So like sometimes it just takes a little research, a little bit of time, a little bit of time extra, and you can figure it out. And that goes with anything, not just train tickets.
So do you have any mottos this year? Anything that you want to like? You want this year to be about, again, those dreams?
Leave me alone. Everyone. I'm just kidding. Just not like a motto really, but like like I said, I just really want to focus on like, what does Taylor want? What does she want? What is she like, and how can she achieve what she wants, you know? I want to be my biggest advocate this year.
Amen. You already are. You're already doing it. You're going to keep doing it.
I'm going to keep going.
Amen. And to everyone watching, I think that's a really great thing to apply to your year, you know, and any dreams, desires that you have. I know that life can get really rough, but again, everything we talked about within your circle and focusing on your mental health and loving your loved ones and spending as much time as you can with them.
Because again, like we're on borrowed time.
We are.
We're on big borrowed time. So it's like, it's so important to just make sure, like, put yourself first and then put your loved ones right there after you and you'll be fine.
I can't wait until the next episode. See where we're at. It'll be much sooner than a year and a half.
Yeah,
from now,
hopefully.
so.
And can we just say, last time when we were on here, we were drunk, first of all. And we were drinking
very
wine.
put together, though.
Yeah.
For 2 bottles, because I'm a lightweight.
Yeah, I know. As am I. So, like, it was, like, surprising that we were, like, we didn't seem it, but we
had really
a
good
little wavy.
conversations. But
it was a very different vibe. But I feel like that just comes with growth
at
the end of it. And, like, I've been telling you, I'm doing dry January.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not drinking this month.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm doing, like, soft, though, in case there is a celebration. Or when I do go away, if I want to have, like, 1 espresso martini, I'll be like, okay, I can have 1. Not 7. Not that I would ever have 7 espresso martinis. That's insane. Like,
I couldn't even have a sip or 2.
I'm right.
Like,
Yeah, you can't.
I'd
Yeah.
be like, I'm gone.
You're like, hospital. This is Yesenia. I gotta go.
All right, Taylor, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having
And
me.
I can't wait until the next time.
Me too.
All right, and have a very happy new year to all of you watching.
Happy New Year. Yay.
Yay. How fun.
That was good.
That was great.